During his playing days, Sir Nick Faldo was called many things, from failure to fearsome. Never as charismatic as Palmer,
Bombers have been knocking the cover off,
or as fun as Trevino.
Lee Trevino, not to be outdone.
Sir Nick was at times difficult for the public to connect with. While playing, he was hyper-focused and private, sometimes to a fault.
Now that really signals that his game is falling apart.
But the champion golfer, who eventually knelt before the Queen, no longer hides behind the mental suit of armor. For the first time, Sir Nick Faldo is sitting down for his most candid interview. Gone are the days of isolation. Armed with lessons from his legendary career, Sir Nick is looking to connect with the public in ways he never has before. Hello, friends, and welcome to a very special program featuring one of golf's biggest figures. You know him as Sir Nick Faldo, probably the greatest English golfer in history. When I first met him well over 3 decades ago, he was just Nick, a shy and private golfer, well before he went on one of the greatest professional runs the sport has ever seen. I'm proud to call him one of my closest friends, but I'm being honest, even I am still scratching the surface of who Nick Faldo really is. Over the next hour, we will hear in his own words how he became a titan of the game and why he is now dedicated to using the lessons from his life to impact the world around him. Born in England in the 1950s, Nick Faldo's road to becoming a champion golfer had a very modest beginning.
Only child, born in Welwyn Garden City. I was actually born in the end of terrace council house. Dad was an unqualified accountant. Mum was a dressmaker. So when I was a young lad, I had a back garden, I had a shed, a ladder, and a bucket. That was my entertainment. You know, I played all the school sports. Basketball, all out of school. I did some cycling. I even tried a bit of canoeing. And then I watched the Masters, the 1971 Masters.
Forward to the 17th, Nicholas again.
The next morning I said to my parents, I want to try golf. Quickly after that, my neighbor gave me 2 clubs in a 7 and 8 iron. So I swung them every evening. I rummaged through the bushes and found 20 golf balls. My mum, being a dressmaker, made me a practice bag, little, you know, and I used to scoot off in the evenings, and I used to tip these balls out, and I used to go down the, you know, like the football pitch line, and there was a long jump pit at the end of the line. So perfect, that was my target. So I used to hit this 20 balls at this long jump pit.
Being an only child, Nick was built for the seclusion of the countless hours alone on the course. What would become his trademark reserved and focused style of play grew out of this isolation.
Jack Nicklaus, more solid and orthodox style.
Got colour TV when I was 12, so I could watch Jack,
Arnold Palmer,
and Arnold, all their little idiosyncrasies, and I'd watch Gary Player and Lee Trevino.
Yeah, great.
And I brought all that back when I then came back to Welwyn Garden, to my practice ground, and I just mimicked everybody. So I would pretend I'm Jack. I'd do, you know, the chin and what have you, and the wagon, and I'd do Arnold, and I'd do this, and I'd do Gary Player this way, and Lee Trevino that way, and Johnny Miller this. But I call it stepping into the ghost, being somebody else. And of course, it's always positive. If Jack's gonna hit a 3-wood with a fade onto the green, you think he's going to do it. You don't stand up to it and go, oh, there's no way I can get this airball today. You go, this is Jack Nicklaus. Jack's going to hit it.
Forced to learn through trial and error, young Nick Faldo did whatever he could to build his game.
So I used to swing a pickaxe. So that trained me to be super slow. You know, this slow, well, we believed in that then, the slow, smooth tempo. So I swung a pickaxe. I could swing a slow motion 2-iron and hit a little dinky shot, only 150 yards. That's what became my trademark. my tempo. And at 15, I said, right, I want to be a pro golfer. And all my attention went to being a golfer, and unless in the classroom, my school report's hilarious. Nicholas has lost his attention. His mind seems to be elsewhere. And then I left school at 16. And my parents, amazingly, just on the advice of my club pro, Ian Connolly, said, well, he's obviously talented. And they bought me a full set of clubs, which were Ben Hogan's. And I literally headed to the practice ground and lived on that for 2 years.
Without a safety net, Sir Nick threw himself into the game. Coming up, we look at the struggles he faced and how it shaped his public reputation.
The media just murdered me, and I lost nearly all my contracts. I have no idea how I maintained my determination through that.
After quitting school at age 16 and building a reputation as one of the most talented amateurs in England, a 19-year-old Nick Faldo turned professional.
Nick Faldo now. No, he's hit an excellent shot. Look at this shot. Beautiful.
He achieved early success, eventually becoming the highest-ranked European golfer of the time. But he was unable to win major tournaments and was ridiculed even for blowing leads in big tournaments.
Done it again and again and again. Well, he just flew it in the gallery and bounced right out into the bunkers.
So my game went like this.
Faldo glares, and the young face suddenly looks very weary.
Some days are like that, Nick. Just no fun at all.
And obviously coming off being European #1, the media just murdered me.
Faldo discovers the finishing hole is all they said it would be and settles for an agonizing 8.
They wanted to portray me as the bad guy. So, many stories were written where it could be written 2 ways. Well, let's write the way that makes Faldo look bad.
Before they called him Sir Nick, the British press dubbed him Nicky Faldo and even criticized every aspect of his game. He was rumored to be arrogant, sometimes even cold as a player.
I only knew that way to prepare for golf. Being an only child, having that isolated practice time, I was great at putting the blinkers on, and I believed that was the way to play golf. Well, in the early days, yeah, sure, I took it very personally. You start putting barriers up. And I'm sure my answers were short and curt and what have you. And I wanted to practice. I wasn't one of the lads. I didn't go to the bar, that sort of thing. I went to the practice ground. And again, that makes you separate more from everybody. So it was kind of a little vicious circle going all the time.
Early on, during these times of isolation, Nick's game continued to struggle.
And I lost nearly all my contracts. I have no idea how I maintained my determination through that. Almost 2 years later, I'd said, right, that's it, I need to change things. I was even taught by a sports psychologist to put it's quite funny now, to put a suit of armor on, an iron chest. We called it the iron chest, to repel negativity. Quite funny, now my night.
Sports psychology helped shield Nick from the outside world, eventually closing him off from the press and all of his colleagues. But his game was still a work in progress. What many perceived as arrogance was actually the manifestations of a golfer who was extremely shy and wrestling with self-doubt. He turned to an unlikely source to conquer this internal struggle.
Ian Connolly found me an acting coach, and he just dealt with stage fright, basically. And so he didn't know a lot about golf, but he gave me some real great things about how to prepare myself for shots. And then I learned to control tempo under pressure. have to instantly be able to go boom to your body and knock your heart rate down so you can stay perfectly still. We were, learning all these things about meditation. So that was a really tough time. So the rebuild was going on, and bottom line, that took 2 years.
At the darkest point of his career, Nick was not just experimenting with new ways to approach the mental side of the game, but also rethinking diet and exercise as well.
So, when we started, let's say we were experimenters. We really were. We were, learning all these things about the dietary side, food and hydration to look after yourself as an athlete, to make you better. All these things we did, I learned by accident. And then it finally clicked.
It can be scary if Faldo is on.
It's in. Number 3 to finish for Faldo.
I came back to Europe and I won in Spain. Little boy said, "You're all right, you're going to win the Open."
Faldo at the 18th. If he can get this, Azinger needs 4 to tie. Oh, a smooth stroke.
It all came together for Nick, and in 1987, he won the Open Championship, the first of his 6 major titles. Throughout the late 80s and early 90s, he was the most feared and successful golfer in the game. A whirlwind of gold putters, green jackets, and claret jugs. But the warm reception from the fans may have been the greatest reward of all.
I can hardly talk about that because it chokes me up. I get goosebumps thinking about it now.
I said, "Cool, Fanny, lift your head up. We can enjoy this one. Look around. We can enjoy it." And choked me up because you can see it. Pretty cool.
It's just what you want.
There it is. Big Faldo.
It took years for Nick to shake off the perception of being Nick Faldo, but when he was finally embraced in England, the new name they bestowed on him was of the highest honor.
When you find out you're going to be knighted, they actually send you a letter. Nobody sends me a letter, right? And it's been sitting there for 10 days now. Flat keep or whatever, he sees this letter and walks it over to my office on the other side of town. My manager at the time calls me and he says, "You're going to be Sir Nick, and you're told you can't tell anybody." And I've then got a call from Buckingham Palace. And so she's a lovely lady. She says, well, Her Majesty would really like to know whether you were going to accept. I said, "Well, of course I accept. I'm delighted." She said, "Well, that's exactly what we want." I said. Then she explained, "Well, we've been waiting for 2 weeks." And I said, "What? You've been waiting for 2 weeks?" So that's when it all was like, my goodness. So I thought I really messed up the whole system. But Her Majesty comes in and she's miles, which is like you. And this sword, seriously, is this big. And this thing comes at you. So I got a big cheesy grin. I saw the sword coming at me. So I got a great picture on the wall, obviously, this big smile. It was the most emotional day I've ever had in my life. It was unbelievable.
The journey to Sir Nick, it's legendary. But when we come back, we're going to take a look at the newest chapter in Sir Nick's life and the many exciting projects he is launching.
For me, it's picturing the flight, where it lands, hit the flag, go in the hole. Let's give it a go. Oh, it's the one. There's the one.
When Cernik's playing days ended, he went from the links to the broadcasting booth. Thankfully for me, often sitting right alongside. He's brought insights that only someone who played the game at the highest level could ever provide. But he wants to do more than just provide commentary. These days, Cernik is launching a new multimedia initiative to arm amateur golfers with all of the mental and physical lessons from his professional days of playing.
I've got another great opportunity to kind of go off and create things, because I would love to take the Armour off now and spread my knowledge and what have you. And I love spending decades learning this game and all these different facets. And my goal now is to share this in the knowledge that we have now. One of my projects is called Formula Faldo. So that's bringing the instructions so you understand the physical side, the technical side, and even the mental side. You know, the good old 101 sports psychology. And that's one of my projects I'm looking forward to creating. So when you face a shot like this, what did you see? What popped into your mind first of all? I guarantee it was the bunker. And what did you say to yourself? Don't hit it in the bunker. And so what did you see when you say don't hit it in the bunker? And then sometimes you feel really positive and you say, I'm not going to hit it in the bunker. And what did you see? The ball go in the bunker. So that's part of the games, that's part of the fun we're going to work on in the sports psychology part of playing this game. So for me, it's picturing the flight, where it lands, hit the flag, go in the hole. Let's give it a go. Oh, it's the one. There's the one. This is it. This is it. This is it. This is it. Oh! Can you get that? That's all right.
Formula Faldo also looks at how you approach your golf game before you even step on the course, by preparing in the gym.
If you swing in a certain way, it's because you've got physical deficiencies for whatever reason. And we know, well, you strengthen up certain parts of your body to strengthen up your golf swing. And then the real science of understanding how to build a golfer. And it keeps getting fine-tuned, obviously, every decade. So I want you to try a very simple drill. Take a 6-iron in your left hand, 7-iron in your right hand. Take your setup like so, right? And then just make the best you can as your backswing. Now, unwind your arms and the club and twist your body and feel it. What has got to be firing for you to come back to the same position? And it's your obliques and your abs. So I've got a couple of exercises I want to show you that will help you fire your obliques and your abs. And that will give you that incredible feeling that you can stand at address, turn, come back, and strike the ball right in the middle. So first we're going to do some scissors. They're your side planks. You've got to come up on your forearm here and make a nice straight line here. So this is straight. Maybe start with tapping your toe on the ground and lift it. And you only need to go about that high. And I call these scissors. So I can do 20 of those. Another fun one is called the bug. You think these are dead easy. So knees up, arms on, press and relax and do opposites. So right arm, left leg, just touch the ground, pick it up. And while you're doing that, you squeeze with the left and the right. Okay, so you just do your opposites like so. And you squeeze as hard as you like. You push the hand on the ball and the knee together while you're doing that. 20 of those again. You'll think those are really easy until sometime tomorrow you go, oh, ouch. Where did that come from? So there you have it. And that is going to really help you start from here, make your backswing, and come back to the same spot.
When we come back, we're going to take a look at how Cernik is using his love of golf to not only improve people's handicaps, but also to pave the way for the sport's next generation.
I want to leave something that people know me more than just a golfer. Want your sports news without the yelling and fake debates? Stream CBS Sports HQ, the free 24/7 network for non-stop highlights and news. Download the CBS Sports app today.
Growing up, Nick Faldo learned to play the game by watching his heroes on television. Decades later, Sir Nick had an idea. If he learned from watching golf's greatest players on TV, how much more impactful would it be to actually connect professionals with the next generation of golfers? That's how the Major Champions Invitational was born. This year, the second annual event was played in beautiful Bella Colina in Mount Verde, Florida.
I mean, the series is 23 years old now, total non-profit.
I've got these kids across the globe now, and I love to share this.
I've always wanted to create an event. So good, I don't know, 5, 6 years ago, I started thinking, how do I create a global event? Everywhere, Middle East, South America, all across Europe, especially St Andrews, home of golf. And the R&A have been my #1 supporter since day one. So that I thank them for that. It's 23 years together, and the same mission to grow. But the more the merrier, the more the better. It's as simple as that. I want to make every event better. And then I was bugging Ernie Els and saying, look, if I could take some kids from my series down to South Africa to play your foundation, then I've got the globe covered. I'm all 4 corners of the globe. The real bottom line is I've created a vehicle for major champions to say, hey, I do junior work, I've got foundations or trusts or whatever, I'm keen to help. He or she can now say, right, you 4, you're off to America this particular time, and you're going to go and compete against fellow golfers across the planet who have a desire to become professional golfers. I say to myself, look, the Ryder Cup started somewhere, so we're off and running, and we now have a sponsor to take us through the next 5 years.
Well, Nick Faldo contacted me almost 2 years ago, and we had the first event, the Major Championship last year, and I thought it was a great idea to be able to bring 4 young people together to play for professional athlete golfer that won major championships, and I was thrilled to be a part of it. It's great to be able to give these kids a chance to play in an event like this, and them knowing all these professional golfers. It's exciting for them, hopefully, to be able to meet who they're playing for.
I want to introduce you to my great friend, Fanny Sunesson, my legendary caddy, who's here from Sweden.
Well, I think the younger kids is the future. I mean, golf to me is just so special. It's a fantastic sport. Anyone can play it, any age. You can play, different age gaps within the group, and you get to know a lot of different people. I think it's really, it's really nice and fun to give back to golf in that way.
They called me and asked me if I wanted to be part of their team, and I was so excited to come here.
Second on the tee from Spain, representing Team Ballesteros, Cecilia Diaz-Molina.
Well, it was amazing. I've never been in this tournament before, and he gave us a lot of tips that were really good for young golfers like us.
If you want to help build a swing and make life easier on yourself, start with your grip. How good is your grip, okay? The next thing I'll cover quickly is alignment.
It's really cool to be able to watch somebody that has that many major championships and has had the success that he has, and just to look at him and have him tell us some of the things that he's done and how to do them is just a real honor and something that I could definitely take some things away from.
At my club, I didn't have a range like this. I had 1 hole. I had a green, 1 bunker in the front, and a flag. Every single shot I hit, I was hitting at a flag, at a target. And I would really strongly recommend that when you go and practice, you practice with a purpose. So it's as simple as, I'm going at that flag, I align myself to that flag, and you use something to line up.
It's a joy to spend time with those kids. So being here for this event, the MCI, it's really special. I'm really liking being here and looking forward to the week.
I think it's always important to give back. Professional athletes have so much to give back. You know, they're popular, they're role models. I know these young kids of today, and even the parents, want their kids to have somebody they can follow, a role model that can be positive, to say, oh, watch that person, look how they handle themselves on the golf course. And it's so important for these kids to have role models, especially in a sport that they want to be great at.
I want to leave something that people know me more than just a golfer. It gave me an unbelievable career, it gave me an unbelievable life, and I love helping others with this great game. I feel blessed that I chose the game of golf.
The 2019 MCI was an incredible event. We had 18 teams representing 18 of golf's major champions. My congratulations to Team Annika for winning our team championship. Representing the 10-time major champion Annika Sorostan were Ella Anacona, Jensen Castle, Dari Chung, and Corey Lopez. And Team Georgia Hall just 3 shots behind.
Go Team Hall!
My congratulations to our individual boys winner, who was 2018 English Boys Amateur Champion, Connor Goff of England, who with a winning score of 15 under par, won by 3 strokes over American Andrew Goodman. Connor's impressive season has continued as he went on to win the prestigious Fairhaven Trophy. Our individual girls winner, Annabelle Fuller, also from England, prevailed with a winning score of 11 under, good for a one-shot victory over Junming Hong from South Korea. Annabelle, a member of the 2018 GBI Curtis Cup team, is poised for many more great things. We all at the Faldo Series are already hard at work organising the 2020 MCI, and interest has been high from a number of great venues. And a big thank you to Golf Saudi for their incredible support of the MCI. In just 2 years, we have established the MCI as one of the most prestigious events in amateur golf. Thanks to Golf Saudi's commitment, the MCI will thrive well into the future, motivating generations of junior golfers to earn the invitation to play for one of golf's great major champions.
Coming up, Sir Nick opens up his home and invites us all to see how an athlete approaches the most important meal of the day.
Like my mum used to say, would you like 1 lump or 2? Who's first? We have to do them together because you go big. Yes, you're going to say, please, please, please. Oh, there you go. Here you go. How about that?
At the darkest point of his career, Sir Nick had to change the way he mentally and physically approached the game, and food was a big part of that. As we continue to look at aspects of Formula Faldo, we see those lessons at play in his everyday life, like breakfast, with friend and Taste of the NFL creator Wayne Kostrowski.
Everything's a cup because the mix is for 2 people, Lindsay and I, and 2 dogs. They love it. I've probably experimented this sometimes, thrown everything in, brought it all to the boil, and then by the time I've added everything, it's just sort of like my mum used to say, would you like 1 lump or 2? It's a get up and go, morning oomph. Plus stirring it is quite an athletic move as well. This particular.
Let me know when your arm starts to get sore. In 1992, the Super Bowl was announced that it was coming to Minnesota in that year. And so I thought, well, we'll get a chef from each NFL city, pair them with a player, throw a party the night before the Super Bowl, and have all the money go to food banks across the country. And that's how it started. We've created over 220 million new meals. The opportunity has come up with Sir Nick. He's got some great wines that will become available. And also the PGA Tour coming to Minnesota, to the 3M Open. We're excited about that. So the idea was, look, that's going to happen in our backyard. We should do something. So I've always been familiar with what Sir Nick can do on the golf course. And then, now what he's doing with associating with some great wines. Who knew that he was going to be an expert in the kitchen as well?
I've traveled the world as a golfer, and probably even more so with my design company. I see more of the world, and there's so much need. And amazingly, in America, there's so much need of a good meal on your table. It's quite astonishing, the numbers that don't get that each day. The NFL has its own program, and I'm delighted to be creating a program for golf called Taste of the Tour. And we will have our first event in Minnesota. I think this is another very important issue, is there's many people who just simply don't have a good meal on their table, if any.
well, Wayne, we're going to do this great event, but how do we expand it? How do we take this maybe around the country?
Yeah, I think this is the launch, you know, in Minnesota for part of the 3M Open. We're going to do this on that Monday night to begin the week with a delicious note. And the idea is we'll repeat it every year there, but this is certainly duplicate opportunity for other cities, and we're looking at some other tournaments coming up as well. And that way, since this is a charity event, 100% of the proceeds will go to the food bank in that area. We can affect a number of different cities by doing chefs from San Francisco area, chefs from Dallas, etc.
So how big is the need? Do you have real numbers of people that really need this help?
Yeah, the amazing thing about hunger in America, which is astounding in itself that we've got that kind of problem, is that the problem has grown from just a number of years ago to 25 million people going to bed wondering about their next meal to 50 million. And that, depending on what part of the country you're in, is about 1 in 6 people are at risk of that. And you think about that, it's families. It shouldn't be.
Does it? No.
And so the timing of doing this kind of an event, and particularly growing it like we are, is perfect because we can help a lot more families in a lot of cities.
And creating that awareness.
Yeah, exactly.
People have got to be aware of those numbers as well. Those are crazy poor numbers.
You're spot on with the awareness because we can only raise so much money. But if we keep doing this and we get the message out there that this is an important issue, people will step in and find other ways to help. So you're exactly right. The awareness is the key.
We're going to have fun.
I think so, especially if we're serving this.
For their starter. I want to cook this for the...
This should be one of the courses.
I should fine-tune this.
Yeah.
You need to start your day the Nick Faldo way. with your athletic porridge. There you go.
Where's that rim shot when you need it? It's just
Right, cut. Get out of my kitchen. You want some porridge? Saxon. Oh, no. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, you're interested. Yeah, you like this. So this is why I cook for 4. Who's first? We have to do them together because you go big. Yes. You're going to say, please. Oh, there you go. Here you go. How about that?
During his career, Sir Nick had many endorsement deals and partnerships. And when we return, we take a look at what he is doing right now that he is no longer tied to any single brand.
Well, I will give these all a whirl. I think we're ready to give him a hit.
Wonderful. I'm very excited to hear your feedback.
It sounds great, doesn't it? All right, let's move on to the...
Beautiful.
To the 747,
can we hit
the big fella.
Can we hit some drivers?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Wonderful.
I'm warmed up now.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we're taking a look at the life and career of my friend Sir Nick Faldo and how he is using the lessons of his pro days to teach the next generation of golfers. No longer on the hunt for tour victories, Nick is sharing all of his secrets and tips. He's even testing golf equipment and applying decades of experience to give an unbiased assessment of the best gear out there in a new online series called Master Tester.
I really have this fun opportunity where, being an independent, unbiased tester, I can bowl up any of these fantastic brands now and say, okay, I've got no clubs, fit me. So my first customer today is Armour, and I've got Laird White. How are you? I remember I used to go to Japan in the 70s and 80s, and sitting in the corner of the pro shops as we walked through was these very expensive Armour drivers, usually in gold colours.
Yes.
And that's a long time ago, that's 30 plus years ago. So please tell us your story, why you've now brought this brand to America.
Well, the wonderful thing is that Armour is a 60-year-old company founded in 1959, and the North American market is just finding out about them today. That's with the launch of the Justin Rose partnership deal and bringing Armour to the North American fans and golfers. So that's really exciting for the Armour team to expand from the Asian market and come overseas and start to make their presence and brand known here in America.
All right. Well, I will give these all a whirl. I think we're ready to give him a hit.
Wonderful. I'm very excited to hear your feedback.
That edge is very straight. I like a tiny bit more curve. If it was me, I'd give it a bend or two. Is TrackMan up and firing?
It is up and running.
So what's the spin on these? So using TrackMan now to get your I call it factual feedback, is kind of the in thing now. We've been doing this, well, probably for pretty close to 10 years. And you get your launch, and you get your spin, and your carry distances, all those sort of things. So when you're trying different shafts, different heads, different lofts, then you're going to get different feedback, and then you can see whether a club really is doing what it says on the tin. I think it's a must. I would love to have had that back at my time, because I used to hit 1,000 balls in the morning, walk to the first tee, and I wasn't sure. Now you can hit one golf ball, and you'll get feedback. Okay, let's see if I can... Did you get an apex on that one?
Okay, so I'll give you a 3-ball average. It's about 85 feet in height.
So I hit some standard shots to establish a baseline with their standard 4-iron.
Nice there. So let's call it 85 feet in height as your baseline. Let's try the the X, and I call it the hollow X. This thing's gonna send to the sky.
Got a feeling you're right. That's over 100, isn't it?
That's over 100 for sure.
So compared to the baseline 4-iron, the X 4-iron definitely got the ball comfortably 10 feet high, and on occasions I get it 15 feet high. So club golfers love to get it airborne, and you don't want to have to make a real meal about doing it. Oh, that's sweet.
Beautiful sound there.
With a small head, you've got to be good to hit this thing.
That's why we gave it to you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Trajectory for me was one of the most important things. When you arrive at the golf ball, you look at the lie first, and then you look at the shot, and then you will see the trajectory of the ball is kind of what you feel has got to go on to fight its way through all the elements or the terrain. And so now you've got better options in the new modern equipment, especially to get it higher, because as you go longer irons, it takes quite a lot of skill to get a long iron airborne, to get it up. All right, then let's move on to the...
Beautiful.
To the 747,
can we hit
the big fella.
Can we hit some drivers?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Wonderful.
I'm warmed up now. Right, I've just got to stand at the end of it and swing it. So let the club do all the work. Let's see what happens. Solid, no wobble, no vibrations. Yet with feel. Got to have feel. I've got to feel the golf ball. I'm going to intentionally shape it this time. A lot of people talked about metal was you can't move them as much. Fade's okay, draws sometimes a little bit more difficult, so I'll give it my bestest to give it a bit of a slice. You imagine we're going around the corner somewhere. Well, it's moving. Came off nice. It didn't do anything squirrely. When I tried to work the golf ball, these clubs are so stable, so well designed, that kept that golf ball pretty much on the straight and narrow. So the combo of face, MOI, and shaft is very good spin on that, isn't it?
It's a fantastic combination.
Yeah.
Based on what I'm seeing from you, I would want to see it in your bag.
It's not just built as a head, advertised as a head, it's advertised as a club, the overhaul club, and I think that is a kind of a nice feeling that it's all matched. It's like buying a fancy car and you've got 4 different tires and wheels on it that don't match. One of the great things when you come to the Masters, it's like a congregation of the business of golf. You never know who you're going to bump into. So I managed to bump into my old mate, Mark King. He's the legend in the golf business. You'll be delighted to know I like the driver. The driver was very good. I played with it at the weekend, and it hit it nicely. So
What did you like about it?
Well, yeah, you're right. Look, straight away. And then actual performance when I hit it on the range. I've actually managed to hit all my fades and draws within the size of a green. And obviously I'm miss-hitting it. I'm not hitting it how I used to. So that proved that the technology in the head, the engine, was working to keep the accuracy for me. So yeah, I was very impressed with it. So the other silly question is, you make clubs up to what, $50,000 for a set?
$50,000.
What do I get for $50,000?
You get a free bag.
Gold plate? Am I gold plated? What am I?
I think what Hanma has been able to do, primarily in Asia, is create this mystique around their brand.
Yeah.
That if you want to achieve a status in society, you have to have a Porsche, you have to have a Rolex or whatever your watch is, and if you're in golf, you have to have Honda. Now, they have just incredible finishing on the product, which is what you saw, the beauty of the product, the engine, it has to work. But it's really about status. And so that's the product line that really does well in Asia. We're going to build a performance product line here for tour players, top amateurs, and people that love to play the game. So we'll have kind of two product lines, one for performance, one for status.
Right. I can put an order in for platinum diamond encrusted Hummers.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Thanks, Mark.
Nick.
Good to see
All
you
right,
again.
good luck.
Coming up, Sir Nick breaks out of his comfort zone and travels outside the world of golf. No longer the shy, singularly focused professional, Sir Nick is sharing his most personal and exciting project yet.
You could have come to Ponte Vedra Beach. We could have done this on the beach. Coming up next here on CBS, golf's second major of the year. It's coverage of the 101st PGA Championship from Bethpage Black. That's next, right here on CBS.
At 14, young Nick could have never known that one day he would be mentioned in the same breath as the legends he watched on television. Nearly 5 decades later, with his legacy as a champion cemented, Sir Nick is just beginning to write the next chapter of his life. A father, a broadcaster, a knight, and an instructor. The world is ready for the new Nick Faldo.
You know, I'm so fortunate. I was a young golfer, young sportsman, professional golfer. I've had a professional career in television and the media side. And you know, to be really honest, I feel like I'm starting again now. Lindsay and I have been together just over a year now, and we've been together 24/7, which is great, what I wanted. And it's quite a nice feeling that just turning 60 to think we've got this whole new ideas, opportunities. Bottom line, let's see what we can create, go and have some fun. And I hope I entertain and drag an awful lot of people along the way that enjoy what we're doing.
This new approach to life has led to the creation of a new series called The Difference. It's Nick Faldo as never before seen, and we have the very first glimpse for you today.
Hi there, I'm Sir Nick, and welcome to my show, The Difference. I'll be spending time with GOATs or legends, may even participate in their disciplines to find out what's the difference that makes them great. And I have ventured all the way to Lapland to spend time with a World Rally champion, Mr. Ari Vatanen. Boys and their toys. It's 6 degrees Fahrenheit, which is minus 14 degrees Celsius. So that is the effort I've had to make to come and visit with my old chum, Mr. Ari Vatanen, in his car. Hey, I guess it's nice and warm in there.
It is actually very nice inside.
Do you know?
Want me to come out? No.
Yeah, you got to come out. We're gonna talk cars.
Oh dear.
But
because I'm dressed for driving, Nick.
You could have come to Ponte Vedra Beach. We could have done this on a beach, you know. But to ice drive, I guess we have to come to Lapland, and this is the furthest north I've ever been in my life. And this is the funny bit. He comes to breakfast in his. How old's this racing suit?
30 years old.
30
I had it when I was wearing it 30 years ago. And unlike you, I still get in it. You wouldn't get into your...
Oh, ouch, straight away.
30 years ago.
Straight away.
Unlike you.
Right. Oh,
yeah.
That's harsh. Right, I'm going to go get my helmet on. I'll see you in a minute. Have you ever got up in the morning and said,
I don't want to drive today.
No, it's
No,
always, once you're on the steering wheel, you forget everything else. I think what matters is that you believe in your dreams and you go for them. If you ask your neighbor, is it sensible what you do? Well, he would say no, definitely not. I think we should encourage one another to run after their dreams. That's all.
Right. So now we're going to go back.
And
you
do
are
a little bit of sideways driving.
And you're going to teach me how to drive sideways. It's fairly slippery today.
Exactly. Because when you go sideways, life is not monotonous. That's how we decided.
Okay.
Good.
I can see how good I am going sideways.
Very good. Well, off we go. And thank you for coming to Lapland.
Oh, thank you. I love
good
it. This is an adventure. All right. So this was what I found so funny. Well, after I drove with you, he drives home like a granny.
Yeah.
I
don't want to have any stress.
No.
I don't want to have any stress, you know.
So I've got a daughter of 15 years old. What's a nice driving tip for her? How do you get round a corner? When should you brake? When?
Well, I would say that I think the best driving tip is for anybody, stay within your limits.
Do you ever fear it? There must have been moments when you scare yourself?
Of course. I mean, we are not superhumans.
One of the things you did, Pikes Peak.
Yeah, hill climb.
Colorado
Springs.
if you wanna scare the pants off yourself, just watch the movie. And what sort of speed are you doing?
There you do average speed. You do between 40 kilometers to 180. No guardrails. Big drops on the left side and or right side.
Big drops, like 5,000 feet drop. He's going sideways round corners and it drops off.
The sun is so low. You have to do this.
And he's driving one-handed. You go and watch it. It's fantastic.
And if you miss the braking coming to hairpin, you go straight down to Colorado Springs, only 2 kilometers. Straight down.
Straight down.
It's a question of confidence. It's like a putting. You need to be very calm and relaxed. Yes, I will get it in. You know.
You're right. We just have we have a 5,000 drop off in our mind. You know, the fear of missing a putt.
That's
terrible.
Right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Exactly.
These are just a few snapshots of Sir Nick Faldo's newest projects. With his middle suit of armor removed, the world has never been closer to Nick Faldo than it is today. And he clearly is loving every minute of it.